Hello, my name is Janet Barrie and I am the current chair of the Society for One Place Studies, and for the next 10 minutes or so we're going to look at the feasibility of conducting a one-place study using free resources and without spending a fortune. This started after a conversation on Twitter about the feasibility of doing so, and I decided to do a one-place study using free resources for the Newlands Valley in Cumberland. My method was based on Janet Few's excellent book, 10 Steps to a One-Place Study, which outlines principles that are applicable to places anywhere in the world. If your place is in England or Wales, it is worth trying to get hold of her earlier book, Putting Your Ancestors in Their Place. This is unfortunately out of print, though there are rumours that it is going to be reissued. I decided to study the Newlands Valley in Cumberland, and in choosing a place we have to make certain choices as to its feasibility. The first and most important is, will it hold your interest over a period of time? It is useful if you can visit your place physically, but it is by no means essential, and there are many excellent studies that are conducted by people who live on the opposite ends of the world. Another question is, are there resources available, and how specific are they to the place in question? We then need to start thinking about some questions. What time frame are we going to study? And it's helpful to focus on specific questions as we research, which helps give some structure to our studies. We can then start reconstructing our places. Field walking is excellent for this if you can able to get there. If not, then the free resources from the British Geological Survey will discuss what is under the ground and what is on the ground, and that determines the uses to which the land is put and therefore the economy of our places. The National Library of Scotland's excellent map collection contains a number of maps for places throughout the United Kingdom and is not limited to Scotland. Geograph is a free resource which is a project to include Creative Commons licensed photographs of every grid reference on the United Kingdom Ordnance Survey, and is an excellent way of getting photographs of our places if we can't get there and take our own. Don't forget Google Earth as well. We then start populating our place, and this should be done at the population level and at the individual level. At the population level, HistPop is excellent but is somewhat frustrating to use. It's worth persevering with. There are a number of useful overview websites, of which the two most useful are probably Vision of Britain in Time and British History Online. If the Victoria County History exists for your places, then that is also an excellent resource. At the individual level, we can harvest as much information as possible from physically attending the place if that is feasible. Graveyards, war memorials, blue plaques on the walls of places of interest and other such information. Don't forget the local history library and the county archives, and remember that if you can't visit the archives physically, the catalogues are often remarkably detailed. There are free databases, FreeBMD and its companions, and Family Search, but also the commercial databases often have offers of free weekends in association with bank holidays or remembrance or special events, and it's worth having a wish list of the information you wish to extract so that you are able to make maximum use of this free time. The British Data Archive, hosted by the University of Exeter, may also have some information that's relevant to our places. We then start making connections between all this data that we've acquired, between the people, between people and places, between people and events, and we would encourage you to think widely while doing this. This plaque is halfway up a mountain in Newlands. It commemorates a man who was born in London, worked in Lancashire, died in Wales. What's it doing halfway up a mountain in the Lake District? Well, he was the founder of the Cooperative Holidays Association, who had a property in Newlands at an early stage of their existence, and this memorial is there in commemoration of that. There are a number of ways of analysing our data and a number of free tools to help us do so. These can cover spreadsheets, note organisation, references, photographs, mind mapping and design. Bear in mind that some of these may be free versions of paid-for software have limited functionality, particularly Evernote and Canva, but their free versions may be sufficient for your needs. We then synthesize our data, and the specific questions that we set at the beginning of our study are useful to help to give us a focus in doing so. I was quite successful in tracing surname congruence and the relative contributions of mining and farming to the Newlands economy, which were two of my original study questions. A third was the ministry of Newlands Chapel over time. This was deliberately more vague, and I have been less successful in studying this, partly due to the lack of resources. Having established our findings, we then need to set them into context. This slide shows an entry for 2 months of the Crosswaite Parish Burial Register, which includes Newlands. Of the 12 records there, 6 of them come from Newlands, 5 of them from 2 farms in Keskerdale. So what is going on? Well, in 1598, when these records were made, there was a series of bad weather events leading to poor harvests, leading to famine, leading to associated disease and plague. How typical was this of similar places nearby and similar places elsewhere in the country? Google Scholar and the Ethos Thesis Archive hosted by the British Library are useful sources of more academic data to help us to contextualise our findings in the wider academic context. It is important that we share our research with others. There are a number of free websites, of which WordPress is probably the best known. Others include Wix and Blogger. Social media is sadly fragmenting, but it's still a useful way of getting our information out there, making contacts with others who share our interest, leading to exchange of information and ideas. We can write it up. The local newspapers may well take articles of historical interest. There's local history, family history and one-place studies journals will quite often publish articles, or we can self-publish as an e-book. If you live in your place or have easy access to it, then leading guided walks for other interested parties around the area is a fun and helpful way of both sharing our knowledge and learning from others. And we can present our findings at events such as this one, either face-to-face or online. When publishing our own researches and findings, we are also spreading the word about the fun that is one-place studies more generally. And as doing so, we enthuse others to continue their own studies in their own places. In doing so, we only have 2 rules. One is that you research with integrity, and the second is that you have fun. Finally, one step may be to join the Society for One-Place Studies. No, it's not free, but it is only £10 a year, and that gives us access to monthly webinars, to quarterly issues of our journal Destinations, to interactions on social medias and shared endeavour, shared blogging prompts, and generally learning from each other and encouraging each other in the fascinating world that is one-place studies. And if you're not already a member, I would encourage you to join. Gratuitous plug over. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of All About That Place 2024.